Alright guys, welcome to this video. Sorry for the shake, the camera is on a tripod, and if you hear, I'm sitting in an old creaky chair in front of my desk. So, I wanted to make a video today on if the 2005 G35X is worth it in 2022. I know there's been like 95,000 of these, but today I'm going to be pulling up some statistics of the car and comparing it to some new cars for way more price. And I'm also going to be pulling up some of the average prices of these cars for certain mileage and things like that, because obviously you can buy one with 200,000 miles for $2,000 nowadays, but they're shit. They usually have trashed seats, you know, like aka mine had almost 200,000 miles on it. Trash seats, usually the motor's blown up and it's on the second one or third one by now, or you're buying it with a blown up motor, which in my case I did not, but I did blow up the motor, in fact. So I just wanted to make a little video talking about why I think the 2005 G35X is still worth it in 2022 and why I think you should buy one, because they're pretty inexpensive and they're really great cars if you keep up on the maintenance. That's the big part. If you don't keep up on the maintenance on these cars, they're worthless. They're absolutely worthless. You have people that treat them like absolute shit. You don't change the oil. You know, they got a leaky valve cover gasket and they let it leak all of its oil out, and then you get rod knock or you spin a bearing. And, ooh, whose fault is it? Is it the cars or is it your fault? And I'm going to lean towards it's your fault. So, also, sorry if I'm looking away from the camera. I'm looking at myself and not the camera, like the actual camera, because I'm used to my GoPro. It's very confusing. So I'm not looking directly into the camera the entire time. But this is the intro to the video, so let's get into why I think the G35X is worth it in 2022. So the first thing is the 0 to 60 on these cars. They average about it's not focusing. They average about a 5.8 0 to 60, and the 0 to 100 is about a 6.1. And the 0 to 160 kilometers an hour or 100 mile an hour is 15 seconds. And then the 0 to 124 mile an hour is 26.3 seconds, and the quarter mile is about a 14.3. Now this is the G35X all-wheel drive 5-speed auto. They do have the 6-speed manual transmission rear-wheel drive, which is actually quicker because they're lighter and the manual gearing is better, so they're a little bit snappier. But now we compare that here to a brand new 2022 Honda Civic Si 7.1 second 0 to 60, and it's a whole second wow, I can't speak today. It's a whole second faster in the quarter mile than the Civic, the G35 is. It doesn't tell me any of the other stuff that the other one told me. But next thing we're going to talk about is the price breakdown between the 2022 Honda Civic and the 2005 G35X. I am not comparing the Type R here because it is a, almost a $45,000 car. So we are just sticking with the 2020 or 2022 Civic Si. Now even the Si is a $40,000 car. Now this car is a little bit slower than the 2022 model, but $40,000 to be slower than something from 2005. That is ridiculous. This one only has 1K miles on it too, so it's used, but it's like basically no miles. Now, they do have really good ratings on Kelley Blue Book and Cars.com and things like that, but this one claims a 0 to 60 of 6.9, which is still over a second slower than the G35. Now, for this price, or even this price, that is well over double a G35 with pretty much the same miles. Now, if you can find a G35 with 26K miles, bravo, you better buy it now, because it's not going to have that for very long. But even a Type R, 16K miles is still $43,000. That's insane. I'm sure even the G35 will keep up with the Type R. I don't know if it'll outrun it, but I know it'll keep up with the Type R. But with the price of bolt-ons and a tune and, you know, all sorts of stuff like that, you will outrun a car like this spending less than 10 grand, which will put you at way less than the price of this car still yet. So yes, I am comparing it to a brand new car because these are the kind of things that people are buying nowadays, is the Honda Civic Si. And especially since you've seen the Honda versus VQ war, if any of you guys have seen it on TikTok, the G35X will outrun a 2022 Honda Civic Si with the 1.5 turbo engine. So that being said, I still think the G35 is worth it more than buying a brand new car. Now, the old G35s, non-rev up, with a VQ35DE come with 280 horsepower and 270 foot-pounds of torque at 6,200 RPM and 4,800 RPM. So we come here, and these, at almost 18 pounds of boost with a 1.5 turbo, make 200 horsepower and 192 foot-pounds of torque. Now, another big advantage too is this is front-wheel drive. The G35 is all-wheel drive, so from a dig, it'll also eat this car alive. So this is also the performance package. So it's even more expensive than just a base model, but this one does have the VTEC and the turbocharger, and it makes more power. But these are the ones with the 6.9 second 0 to 60 here instead of the 7.1. But for $30,000, you can get a car that you can get gapped by a car from 2005 for probably 5 grand. So I am going to bring up the price of a few G35s now. Now, yes, there is almost 100 horsepower difference, but for the price of this car, you would think it'd make over 200 horsepower. Now, this car might outlast the G35 because it's a Honda, but my G35 made it to almost 200,000 miles before it decided to give up, and those were hard miles. Those were not easy miles. So let's bring up the price of a G35 now, or a few that I can find, and show you the price difference between a really expensive car that is slower than a really cheap car. Here we have one with 150,000 miles, and it's going anywhere from $4,400 to $6,100, or $6,200. But if you're paying $6,200, you can definitely get less than 150,000 miles. And this is a real car. This is in Blair, Nebraska. 2005 Infiniti G35X sedan 4-door. Now, even if you're paying $6,200, right? Damn it, Thomas. There's always a train when I'm recording. Even if you're paying $6,200, right? That is over a $23,000 difference between this car right here. So, for $23,000, you think you could make this car outrun that one even more? I think so. For $23,000, I've seen these cars make upwards of 700 horsepower on built motors with a turbocharger or a supercharger. So they're very, very, very capable cars still today in 2022. So I think it is a lot worth it. This car is way overpriced compared to this car, which makes more power, more torque, outruns it, faster 0 to 60, all-wheel drive. I can keep going. I think it looked, actually, the front end of those new SIs are pretty aggressive, but I think these cars can look better. I don't know about handling better. I'm not going to say anything about that, but I love the steering in my Infiniti. And I think these cars are just so much more capable all around because, yeah, that car's already boosted. You can build a lot more boost in those cars than you can these cars, but this car with a built motor on 18 pounds will make way more power than that car stock on 18 pounds. So you dump even 10K into a motor and 6K into a supercharger or a turbo kit, and then even another $2,000 on a tune, you're less money than this Civic. So, and you're probably going to be upwards of 500 plus horsepower on low boost. If you make 18 pounds of boost, I bet you could push 550 wheel out of these cars, no problem. Now, with these cars making that kind of power, you do run into things like breaking axles and exploding your transfer case and your front diff. But, you know, even if you upgraded those kind of things, you'd still barely be over the cost of that Civic. And being over the cost of that Civic being over 500 wheel, I would think it's worth it. Would you not? So my consensus is that I think the 2005 Infiniti G35X sedan is just so much more capable than a lot of newer cars. And especially if you're buying something brand new, you have to wait for manufacturers to make parts. You buy something from 2005 like this, you still got cruise control, you can get the Bose sound system, you got heated seats, you don't get Bluetooth or anything like that, which is the main thing I hate about this car. But for $200 and then another $200 or so for a radio, you can fix that issue, and it's really not that bad. Which is $400 is less than a lot of options that you can get on that 2022 Civic. So it's kind of a, you know, it's a win-win situation here. Now, I think these Infinitis are very luxurious as well. I said that really weird. Luxurious, whatever. They have leather seats. They've got a nice dash, everything. It's just all nice, right? And not to mention a lot of the random features that the G35 does have, like a lot of them still come with keyless entry from 2005. They have a theft system, mine, and a lot of other ones. You can stick the key in the door, in the lock, and you can turn it either way, and it'll roll windows down, it'll unlock all the other doors, it'll roll windows up, it'll lock all the doors. A bunch of cool things like that. There is, if it works on your G35, there's a button on the back as well to pop the trunk, which is, you know, keyless entry there. Click a button, you know, the trunk pops. It does have an emergency latch still, or you can use it on your key fob. And they're just super capable cars. My car has intake, it has headers, test pipes, it has a 3-inch exhaust, and it has a plenum space over the catch can. And I can tell you right now, it'll gap the hell out of a 2022 Civic Si with a 1.5 turbo. Now, even if I went tune and they went tuned, I would still outrun one. So I just want to preface that they are faster than a new Civic. Now you can compare them to a lot of cars for $30,000. You have your 2020, you have your like 2018 plus Mustang GTs for, you know, the same price, which would absolutely demolish this car. But we're talking cars in the same realm. We're not putting like V8 against V6. I guess we are putting V6 against 4-cylinder, but this is a turbocharged 4-cylinder. And if you talk to a lot of people, a turbocharged 4-cylinder is better than a V6. Now, personally, I love being NA because I don't have to wait on a turbo. I walk out in front of any turbo car, and they have to wait for their turbo to reel me back in. So I've already put 2 cars on them, and we're usually at a higher rate of speed before they can even come back on me. Because as you guys have seen on my channel before, I don't know if I posted, I'm pretty sure I have. I raced the 2003 Subaru WRX, which is my best friend Andrew's car. And I was ahead of him from 20 mile an hour to 90 mile an hour until his turbo kicked in and he went by me. So that's a pretty good distance. And most races on the highway, when you roll up to people, end at that point. You get 100 mile an hour, they pretty much end. So you're pretty much just in a win-win situation here. Either way, you can outrun a lot of new cars. They're very capable, and there's still a lot of aftermarket availability for these cars. There's still people that tune them. There's still people that make brand new parts for these cars. You can still get reman parts for these cars, like brand new doors, brand new door seals. You know, you can buy a brand new steering wheel. You can still buy parts for these cars everywhere. I can go to a parts store and get pretty much any part I want ordered into the parts store, or I can find it online and buy it. And it's really not as expensive as people say it is, because I've seen a lot of people say that Infiniti is really expensive to maintain, and it's not. I have had my car, January of 2023 will be 1 year, and other than blowing the motor up, I really have not put that much money into it. Really, the only thing I did that wasn't a mod was valve cover gaskets and oil changes. So you just got to keep up on your maintenance, and these cars will last a super long time. I've seen multiple up in the 300,000 mile club, you know, like just insane amount of miles. But, you know, I'm just the messenger. So I have been absolutely loving the shit out of my G35, and I think that you should buy one too. So I'm going to try one new thing on the channel, and I'm going to give you some life advice. So my life advice for the day is to not give up. As cliche as it sounds, my message I want to portray to you is that if you keep trying and you keep pushing harder and harder every single day to achieve your goals, you will get there. It may take time, it may not be fast, which it never is, and it's never easy. You can't expect it to be easy. But if you keep trying harder and harder every single day, you will get where you want to be. There's been numerous times that I've told myself, even with the YouTube channel, Instagram, TikTok, all this, that I should just give up because no one is watching me, right? Now I have gained a following of about 80 of you guys now, which is not very much, but it means a lot to me. Even the 30 views I get per video, because there's 30 people that want to come watch me every single time that I upload. Now, some of my videos get better views than others, but you can't lose hope. There's a lot more views, there's a lot of videos that get more views or more publicity than other videos, but you can't get down in the dumps because one video did bad. Try harder, post another video, and just keep going. Never, ever, ever give up. And I want to say a special thank you to Evan Shanks, because I just watched one of his videos and he gave me the idea to do this. So shout out to him if you've ever watched him. But that is my daily advice not daily advice, this is my only advice that I've given so far, but I want to keep doing this more often. But never, ever, ever give up. Keep pushing forwards.